Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to South Korea. Welcome back to the Inje Speedium for coverage of round 15 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, race number 3 of what has been an action-packed weekend here in the Asian leg of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour 2025 season. Paul Jeffrey in the box, Alex Le Gui down there on the grid, hiding, ready to hunt out all of the action, excitement, news and drama ahead of this third and final race of the weekend. The sign says the road to glory. Our drivers most certainly hope that will be the case. Before we get racing then, let's head down Alex and see who she's managed to find.
Annyeonghaseyo. Hello everybody, welcome back to Inje Speedium. It's the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, and here we go again. Our third race of what is turning into a brilliant weekend, certainly for the Hyundais, who have not only won once with Josh Buchan, but twice thanks to Mikel Ascona. Can they make it a hat-trick? Well, I tell you what, because these boys in blue, the Link & Co. Cyan Racing, are not going to make it easy. Ted Bjork, who is turning into Mr. Consistent, is there on pole position. And the leader, Jan Erlesche, if I may interrupt you guys, is currently on the front row. However, we've had all of the conditions, and just looking up at those very black clouds up there, it looks like we're going to have another mixed one. Your thoughts? How much is it going to affect things with this temperature dropping and the potential rain?
Well, I think the wind is pulling them away from us, so we should be all right. This morning, the temperature of the track was almost similar to what we have now. Maybe we are a bit warmer now, so we adjust according to the feeling we have after the race 1, or the race 2 actually. And we did the change, and we hope the balance will be slightly better, but it was already quite good in race 2. So.
Yeah, as you spoke, well, both you and Ted have been really, really happy, haven't you, with everything that the team has done? These cars are feeling great here.
Yeah, they do actually. You know, we carried the extra 30 kilos, so it's not really easy on the duration of the race. The last laps we struggle a little bit with overheating the front tires. But we know it, so we need to be careful, especially the first half of the race. And yeah, we need to do a good getaway, and let's see what's going to happen.
Time for a win, Jan. All right, let's go and have a chat to home hero Josh Buchan, who is very comfortably looking after the Hyundais. How is the car, firstly, because he had a little issue in race 2?
Yeah, we didn't have a clutch, so it wasn't worth the risk. It would have been disrespectful to try and launch the thing in the middle of the pack to our competitors. So we decided to start from pit lane instead, just to make sure we didn't cause a pile-up. Luckily, got through without a scratch and made up a heap of spots. It was one of those dream runs. So yeah, car's all sorted. We're still in a decent spot. Obviously, P3 is quite good, so yeah. Happy.
And as you said before, you're not here fighting for the championship battle. The boys in front of you are very much so, but I guess it's full attack.
Yeah, I'm not winning anything at the end of the year. I'd like to add another tick to the Hyundai column, obviously, but look, they race differently to me. I sort of look at the bigger picture, whereas they all look for the immediate reward. So perhaps at the start they'll box on pretty hard. I might just watch, enjoy myself, and then hopefully at the end I'll have a good car and can pick off some spots.
Best of luck. We look forward to seeing how that pans out for Josh Buchan there, who is working hard. As always, Esteban is not here. However, I can speak to Pepe. We haven't had a word with you yet. Okay. Esteban's really been in the mix this weekend. This is not going to be the easiest of races. Thoughts?
Well, I think that we all have shown a really nice show to the fans and to the people at home, which for us is the main goal. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way that was good for us. So the Lynx got the better, let's say, fortune about the race 2, so we're going to try to get the main one.
I tell you what, Esteban has been fighting very, very hard. He's such a good climber, isn't he, in these conditions?
Yeah, as he has in his head, he's a tiger. That's why we have him on the team, and I think that everybody's enjoying the show, which at the end is the main thing. And now we have the big race coming, so fingers crossed.
We certainly are enjoying the show. Have a good one, Pepe. So Esteban is currently 47 points behind Jan, so mathematically still very much in contention. Let's have a quick word with Mikel before he hops in the car, if that's okay. Mikel, the winner of race 2 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, P6. What can you do from back here? Now you know just how good this car is.
Yeah, now we start P6. Fast cars are in front. I'm gonna be, I don't know, to be honest. I will check on the start what happens in front, and then we try to attack. We see what will happen on the first corners.
Good. Best of luck. Now, Jan thinks those clouds are going away, but they look like they're moving too quickly to me. Mar, let's go and have a chat to him, because you were right in the mix, fighting very hard. Race 2 was really disappointing, wasn't it, from your perspective?
Yeah, well, it's okay, and I think I got the pace at the start was very good, and yeah, then after safety car, yeah, obviously because my teammates, they are fighting for the title of the championship, so yeah, I do some favor, let's say. Hopefully can get back in the future.
How is it to be over here in Asia?
Good. I like this circuit a lot. It's really interesting to drive, and quite challenged circuit. Very challenged condition yesterday, and today is a bit stable, but really enjoying this track.
Good. What of the Southern Korea delights have you experienced so far?
A lot.
Good. Have a great race, Ma. All right. So, yes, Jan is the one to beat this weekend. 349 points. He's had 4 wins and 11 podiums. Esteban Guerriero is 307 points. He's 42 behind. He has had 3 wins and 9 podiums. Let's have a chat to... Oh, we haven't had a chat to... Let's go and have a chat to Norby. We haven't spoken to him at all this weekend. It's very unlike him to be back here. We know how strong the Hyundais are. Norby, will you talk to me? Right. Full attack from back here?
Was full attack. Always. It's not. It hasn't been the easiest weekend for us, to be honest. I will do my best, but like usual, I will try to use my head. I think many things can happen in this race. So, first of all, I need to have a good start to carry a good momentum all the way through turn 1, 2, and 3, and then to stay out of trouble. That will be my target, and then to push 100%.
Good. How are you enjoying the local crowd here?
They are so nice. I mean, we were waiting for a race in Korea since a couple of years now, and it's very nice to be here finally. I mean, it's a home race for Hyundai. We were preparing flat out. I'm really happy that Mikel won race 2, Josh race 1, so we already gave something to the fans. And I hope to carry this momentum all the way until the end of race 3.
Good. I look forward to seeing how you get on, Norby. Let's not forget our TCR Asia boys who are working very hard. They've been doing so well. Let's see if Diego Moran can get back up onto our press conference later on. There we go. That concludes the grid walk. It's time for race 3. I get the feeling this one might be a good one. Let's go.
I get the feeling this will be a good one. Alex Legui says down on pit lane. I think she's right. It is going to be a good one. It's the third and final race of the weekend here from South Korea. Race number 1 yesterday was a bit of a classic. Race number 2 just this morning was also incredibly entertaining. And as you can see, there's a small amount of weather in the air, just willing to rear its pesky head. Hopefully that passes before we get to the checkered flag on this one, and we can see it all the way through to the end in dry conditions. I most certainly think the likes of Ted Bjork and Jan Ehrlichie will be hoping for that one from the front row of the grid. This could be a vital event for both drivers. 2025 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour drivers' standing prospects. A win here will go a long way to closing that gap down at the head of the pack for that man Ted Bjork. Came in to the Korea weekend 36 points behind Jan Ehrlichie. Well, he's lost, 53 points behind Jan Ehrlichie. It's now down to 47. 6 points have been clawed back by the Swedish driver. That's a nice result. He's still got 47 left in the books. He needs a bigger improvement at the end of this race. Ehrlichie started from second position, had tyre trouble in race number 2. Losing grip in the Kumho slicks at the front of the car. Hopefully they'll be able to remedy that one, and Ehrlichie can show his true turn of pace all the way through to the checkered flag. And hopefully for HMO Customer Racing and that man Josh Buchan, the gremlins that have befallen this car today are well and truly in the rear-view mirror. As Josh mentioned, they took a strategic decision to start from pit lane for race 2, just to avoid any dramas based on the issues with their clutch. And they clawed the way all the way back through the field. It was a real strong drive for Buchan. P9 in race 2, P1 in the first race in action of the weekend. Can the Australian do some more damage to the egos and reputations of our World Tour drivers and put in another very, very strong performance? A strong performance like Esteban Gurrieri has been putting it all weekend long. The Argentinian driver had a solid race last time out, P4. First race in action of the weekend. Finished in second position. His championship charge, he's lost 6 on Jan Ehrlichie. Still time to rectify that one before we say goodbye to South Korea at the end of this weekend. One might have been for Santiago Urrutia so far. It's been a strong weekend. 5th position in race 6th position, in race number 2. As you mentioned, always a bit difficult when your championship fighting teammates are around you. For Urrutia, he wants the result for himself, but he also wants to make sure it is a maximum haul for the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing team. Kona's got to be a driver to keep an eye out as well. He's going to be strong in this one, starting from 6th position. He's at a 10th and a 1st over the course of the weekend. 10th position, arguably, courtesy of some strategy for the reverse grid. Race victory in race number 2 shows there's pace in that car, and I think you may or may not agree with me, but it did look like there was plenty of pace for Mikel Azcona in the race this morning. I can't see the Spanish driver staying in and around the 6th position at the checkered flag. And Dusan Borkovic, always value for money, is the Serbian driver. He's going to be lining up from 8th on the grid in this one. An 8th position in race 1, 5th position in race number 2 on his return to the World Tour for GOAT Racing in the Honda Civic FL5 TCR. Borkovic will be hoping to end on a high note in what has been a very encouraging return to the championship. Teammate Nacho Montenegro very much in the equation as well, as the 1 minute board has been raised. We are 1 minute away from sending our 22 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour alongside TCR Asia drivers around for a reconnaissance lap before finally going motor racing for the last time this weekend. 3 races in a weekend. Sign me up for more of that, please. Right then, let's have a look at our starting grid. Of course, it is Ted Bjork and Jan Ehrlichie for a Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing front row. Josh Buchan has Esteban Gurrieri for company on the second row of the grid, in 3rd and 4th respectively. Santiago Urrutia, Mikel Azcona, Marcin Hua and Dusan Borkovic are 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. 9th place goes to Nacho Montenegro, Nubert Nicholas alongside on the outside of the top 10. 11th place is Reliant Compt with Nestor Girolami in 12th position. Ryan McMillan, a 17-year-old Australian, will start from 13th. He's got Diego Moran for company in the DM23 Ecuador racing machine. 15th place goes Che Jong Wion. Alongside him is Lo Se-ho. 17th is Sean Chang, Perry Santoso in 18th. 19th place goes to Ryan Berdua. And 20th goes to Andy Lang. 21st position will be a very disappointing Judson Park. So teammate from Solite Ecuador Racing, Janui Park, along alongside him. They make up the back row of the grid. What could have been for both drivers? We had much higher expectations and hopes coming into this weekend. Sometimes the cars just don't fall your way. Keep your eye on them though, to see if they can move forward in the race. A few relatively quote-unquote easier pickings towards the rear of the grid with the less experienced at this level. TCR drivers will see the hit back to a back. Brilliant comps had significant damage on that car following an incident in race 2. Great work for SP Competition. Squad to get that machine back up and running, hopefully for Aurelian. Finds in fit condition and he can continue showing an incredible, it has to be said, turn of pace this season. It's not been quite the highs of the other rounds here in South Korea for Aurelian Comp. 6th in race 1, following it up with a DNF in race number 2. Shouting down there, 11th place. There's an opportunity to get himself a couple of points. What's been a very, very strong season. Right then, buckle up, folks. Race 1 was great, race 2 was great. What does that mean? Race 3 will also be great, I am absolutely sure. But we'll find out if we've got time of 30 minutes plus a single lap of what are in our immediate future. And for 22 drivers, this is a big opportunity to set the seed for their continued success. Pole position then, starting at the very head of the pack, courtesy of having scored the most points of anyone over the course of the weekend, is Ted Bjork. Alongside the weekend, the successful weekend, keeps Ted third in the Drivers' Championship. You can see for yourself on screen, it is still very, very close indeed, with 30 points for a race victory, 15 points for a pole position. The gaps of 40 plus might seem large on paper, but in reality, it could all change. Toss of a coin. Here, Esteban. Quiet, under the radar but successful weekend. Will Josh Buchan put a fight up? He was saying that his strategy is maybe let the big dogs in front have a battle and then see what opportunities present themselves. That's lovely and straightforward on the grid. Talking to Alex Lee. Green lights go out though, or the red lights distinguish themselves and disappear from the tower. Sometimes, just sometimes, that mentality doesn't quite play out in reality, and you find a gap and you go for the gap. These are some of the finest moments in sport, these ladies and gents. The last few moments while the cars line up on the grid, you can feel the tension on the pit wall. You feel the hair standing up on your back of the neck. A hush descends amongst yourself and your colleagues, and you know that all the talking stops and it all happens right here and right now. Almost time to go then here at the Inje Speedium for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. 22 cars line up on the grid. The green flag waves at the back of the pack. The lights will go on, the lights will go off, and we are go for round 15 at the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Ted Bjork and Jan Erlishay lead the field away at the head of the pack. In third position, Esteban Gurrieri gets a lightning start. Josh Buchan dropping down the order through this opening few yards. Gurrieri immediately paints into the self of title rival Jan Erlishay's rear bumper. Erlishay has to go defensive very early indeed. Gurrieri can't quite find a way past. Buchan now trying to recover some last places as well. Lajiquar very much in the middle of that one as 22 TCR cars squabble for position through sector 1. Aurelian Compton strife in the middle of your pack. That's one of the Park Solite cars sideways as well. Good bit of car control there for Janui. I think that was the higher rated of the two drivers on the grid at this moment in time. Janui did keep hold of the car and holds on to that advantage. But Bjork and Erlishay are our two race leaders, and everybody else is squabbling over positions further back. There we see Aurelian Compt. There is pretty much everybody else. Ryan McMillan in the heart of battle as well, is looking to the inside successfully, it seems, of Parks. That's a good bit of driving for McMillan. He lost a couple away from the line, but is quickly trying to recover this one. Everybody makes their way through now, still on the opening lap of this beautiful Inje Inje Speedium circuit. To the inside goes Park, to the outside stays the Hyundai. Macmillan can't quite get back on the racing line, so that's a position gained for Park, a position lost for Macmillan. He drops down to 16th now, Wilson up into 15th place. Janui Park, his teammates on the strife as well. Janui there, almost losing out. I think he just hold on to the place at the death. There we go, lap number 1 in the books. The way they wind downhill into the first complex corners. Really, really easy to snatch an inside break. Even more straightforward to run straight off of the racing surface. No such dramas though for any of our World Tour field. That's a little bit further back. Dusan Borkovic and Aurelian Comte come together. Comte, a little contact to the rear quarter of Borkovic. Both drivers though carry on as if nothing happened. Borkovic holds on to that 11th place. It's been a nightmare start, hasn't it, for Dusan? Dropped all the way down the running order, but he's still in this race, and wherever you're on the racetrack, you have an opportunity. To the inside looks Comte. That gap though was always going to close up, and Aurelian thinks better of it. Dips back in, back behind. Go racing on the Civic. Concentrate on apexes and exits. That's the number 1 rule of motor racing. Get a good run and have another go at your rival. And Aurelian Comte definitely leaving nothing on the table, is he? At this early stage of the race, the Frenchman very much pushing on in the SP competition. Cupra on VZ. So far, though, it would be a somewhat disappointing 12th position for him. Johnson Park, very briefly saw there, having a look for position. They're down from something 15th. Work to do, start from the back row of the grid. Knows himself and Janui making a very good fist of his opening few moments to ride on board the Esteban Guerrieri. Jan O'Shea just ahead of us. Ted Bjork having a very nice opening couple of laps. Let's have a look at the lap times across the line. Last time around, 42.2 for Ted, 42.3 for O'Shea. Only a tenth of a second, but these tenths all add up to whole seconds as the race progresses. So far, so good for Ted Bjork. Not quite so good, though, for Ryan Macmillan. He was defensive down into T1, now he's on the attack. Beautiful then, onboard shots from Aurelian Comte. At this moment in time, this is what it looks like to Harari Dusan Borkovic. Serbia driver on the defensive in the Goat Racing Honda Civic. Can't quite find a way past. Can Comte at this moment in time. Can't quite find a way past here. Is this little battle as well? Mikel Afkona there in the 196. Santiago Urrutia, Josh Buchan, and then pretty much everybody else all behind trying to find a way past Afkona on the defensive in the early stages of this race. 4th place so far for the Spanish driver. Not a bad return from 6th on the grid, is it? A couple of places gained. And again, the fear, that worry that there's just not quite the pace of the 30 kilos on board for Mikel, 40 kilos on board for Norbert Nicholas. The pace is just not there on home soil for DRC, despite having took the win in the previous race. It's going to be a big, big task for Mikel Afkona. What is good news, though, is while he's playing the cork in the bottle and holding up Urrutia, Buchan behind, and Mar, that keeps Norbert Nicholas very much in this conversation. There is the 105 at the back of your shot in 8th place. Bujuralami providing rear support as well in the 129. So for Nicholas, while this fight continues, that keeps him in eye line, at least, of the cars in front. For Norbert, the Hungarian driver, we need to find a little bit more pace if we want to start looking at finding a way past said cars in front. Here's Aurelian Comte of these first couple of corners. The Inje Speedium. Comte seems a little bit more committed, a little bit stronger through there, and his rivals around him at this moment in time. So Dusan Borkovic will certainly be keeping an eye very firmly on the rear view mirror. There we go, Comte looking to the inside again at the back of his shot, and again Borkovic has an answer to that aggressive move. Aurelian's going to have to work very hard indeed, he thinks, to try and find a way past. 24 minutes plus a lap on the clock. Ted Bjork is your leader, 1.4 seconds ahead of Jan O'Shea. Esteban Guerrieri still holding on to the bottom step of the podium, and then it's the Mikel Afkona versus the rest of the field fight. In 4th position, that's Park, trying to find a way past, unable to do so at this moment in time. We'll say Hope in the car in which he's racing against. racing against. Let's have a look at Jan Ellershay. Now remember folks, Jan said on the grid, there's a little bit of an issue with the grip at the front of the car towards the end of the race. Couldn't quite keep it in the optimal window for performance. Now we kind of saw that, didn't we, in race number 1 as well. Ellershay not quite there with the pace that perhaps we expected coming into the weekend. They've had a think about it. They've obviously had 2 races now in the books to try and ascertain what's going wrong and rectify it. For Jan Ellershay, I think it's fair to say, I know it's early to make a statement, that car doesn't quite look as happy as perhaps the likes of Esteban Guerrieri feels, for example, behind. It's going to be a long 22, nearly 23 minutes for Ellershay, isn't it? It's going to be a hard race from here, and he'll be a brave man that places any money on the Frenchman staying in that second position, especially when the stakes are so high for Esteban Guerrieri. He would dearly love to liberate that place away from his title rival. Further back, checking Pirelli and Compt, what's happening with the Frenchman? Not much is the answer to that one. Compt still in 12th position, and dropping back to Dusan Grokovic ahead. All status quo then, to the head of the pack. There's a little bit of a squabble at the top of your shot, a little bit further down, and hello. A bit of damage on the 112 Santiago Arruti. I think it might be on the front right hand corner. Look, there you go, you can see there maybe perhaps courtesy of impressive overtaking, or maybe flirting a little bit too close to the tyre stacks. Either doesn't seem to be causing too much strife for Santiago. He's holding on to that 5th position. Josh Buchan keeping the washing brief as well. Looks good for the HMO Customer Racing squad, doesn't it? Buchan doesn't seem to be suffering any further dramas that we saw prior to the racing. The Australian driver currently holding on to that 6th place, but harrying the back off Santiago ahead. This is looking very nice indeed for Josh. It's looking very nice indeed for Hyundai on home soil, as there is Nove in the background. Nova Mikulis now trying to get onto the back of Marcin Guar and looking very accomplished in his efforts to do so as well. Almost a mirror, isn't it? Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing versus Hyundai. Josh Buchan is the first one in shot. Josh Buchan is the one that has the door unceremoniously closed in his face. Tries to look to the inside, will try and sneak back to the inside. The rear of the car though, often wants to swap ends when you do that kind of thing. Buchan has it all under control, but has another thing about how to get past Santiago Arruti. Goes a little bit further back. There we go, beautiful drone shots. Nova Mikulis tries to do a similar thing, but with no joy as well. Nove stays very much behind Marcin Guar. But both of these little battle packs look like they've got more than a bit of story still to tell. There we got Pirelli and Compt. Nacho Montenegro has fallen victim, I think, to Aurelian. Montenegro down into 11th now. Compt up inside the top 10, so a good bit of driving there from Aurelian Compt. Didn't see the incident on screen. The end result is exactly the same, a top 10 for Aurelian Compt, but in some ways towards making up for the disappointment of a DNF in race number 2. Sure, the Frenchman's got plenty more pace to go and find Bebel Girolami, or Nestor Girolami, to give him sufficient aim. He's the next victim of the road. 9th place for Girolami. Compt is coming. He's coming very quickly indeed, covering off that 8 tenths of a second gap between himself and the Argentinian driver. Absolutely adore these drone shots. Some really wonderful scenes here from the Inje Speedium circuit. First time the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour was raced in South Korean soil. My goodness me, are we absolutely to be delighted to be here. Part of the Hyundai End Festival. Loads of activations going off on track and around the facility as well. We've had some electric cars out there racing just before we went into this race session for the World Tour. Plenty of dignitaries, VIPs. The Mayor has been here as well. Lots of representation from Hyundai, from Kumho, from other various partners. It's a real festival atmosphere at the racetrack, and everybody involved could not have been more welcoming to the World Tour field. So we express our gratitude once again to our friends in South Korea for putting on an absolutely fabulous show. And for this final time, Aurelian Compt has the bit between the proverbial teeth. The BRC Hyundai just ahead of Bebel Girolami. Looks rather vulnerable, does he not? Compt very confident over the curves, very confident with the racetrack underneath him. Got a bit of a point to prove, methinks, does the French driver. Despondent after DNF in race number 2. Well, The redemption arc is always all the more impressive by finding overtakes and scoring big positions, and that's exactly what Aurelian Comp is looking to do. Girolamo would do well to be a little bit cautious in that defence, because the harder they fight, the more time they hemorrhage to the chasing pack. On this occasion, no bad thing. The next car up the road is Norbert Michaelis. There, we see Norby engaged in his own battle with Marchingois. It's no longer the Girolamo can hold off Compt. The more safety net and wiggle room that Michaelis has to try in his own battle with Var a little bit further. There is Compt once again. Close, but not quite close enough to affect the overtake. Dusan Borkovic keeping a watching brief in the background as well. Borkovic will see these two engaged in battle, locked in the ferocity of combat, and he'll know there's an opportunity to close up. Borkovic giving his absolute all at this stage in the motor race. Last time around, 44.8. 3 tenths of a second quicker than the cars in front. So Borkovic on a charge, bit firmly between the teeth. The longer that comes, and Girolamo fight, the more opportunity will present itself. Speaking of fights, let's check in a bit further up, shall we? There is Aurelian. Still engaged in that one. Josh Bucket still on the defensive as well. And Mikkel Afcon, a big shout out to Mikkel. Last time we really checked in with the car in 4th position, he was under pressure. Not anymore. Nice gap has been built to Santiago behind. So good driving there from Mikkel Afcon. A great driving from Marchingois to hold off the charge behind. And Bevel Girolamo also doing a good team job at this moment in team for BRC Hyundai and Squadra Corse, as they've got the new EV homologation of the Elantra for this weekend. New turbo, new map. Quite seems to be working out as hoped for, pure pace-wise at least, even if the results have been rather good. Right then, pop your thinking caps on, folks. You're Aurelian Compt. You've been watching the back of this car for a while now. Nice as that view is. What are you going to do about it? Where do you affect the overtake? What's the options available to you? Well, while Aurelian Compt ponders that one, has a little think, I've got a good idea. Why don't we go back to the start and take a replay of how this race began? Off of the line then, it was inch perfect for the two Lincoln Co. Cyan racing machines, but from 3rd position, Josh Bucket got an absolute nightmare. Punch troubles in race 2, perhaps they reared their ugly heads. At the end of the day though, what it did mean was Bucket couldn't get away from the line very quickly. Indeed, he did stay out of trouble, didn't attract any damage there, right on board, all the way around the outside with Aurelian Compt. Hello, that was a nice bit of driving for Aurelian, wasn't it? Everybody stepped out of the way, and that's how the French driver found himself very much in the heat of battle. As we hit the mid to end points of this race, great scenes from the onboard cameras here in the World Tour. Absolutely love these shots. And this is what it looks like a little bit further on as well. Pick some racetrack, folks. Can you find any racetrack? There certainly is no space available. And here's one of the touring car drivers in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour are the absolute best in the world. Rubbing is racing, plenty of aggression, plenty of excitement. And that is a lovely overtake indeed. A little bit further up the front of the field, or further back, should I say. Park and Moran getting into strife. Sorry, McMillan and Moran getting into strife. Ryan, though, taking the advantage on that occasion, taking the position away. Speaking of taking positions away, by the way, Ben Earlyshays showing absolutely no sign that he's going to do that one at all from Ted Bjork. You see the gap, 2.3 seconds is the gap between the two of them now. So Jan, very, very much looking like the tyre management phase of his race is well and truly in flight. There's Aurelian Compt, Bevel Girolamo still. You know what I was saying about bringing Montenegro and Borkovic into it? Who's behind? You guessed it, Montenegro and Borkovic. Through the final corner then, Aurelian Compt very aggressive indeed on the inside curb, but the curb is not as quick as the asphalt. Compt has to bail out of that particular attack very squirrely. Is the Cooper down into the run into T1 and T2. It's been a dreadful weekend there, has Aurelian. It's not quite enough to be able to leverage an opportunity against Girolamo ahead. By the way, teammate Michaelis, mirror image problem. This time Norby is Marchingois for Company Mar, still holding on to that 7th position and doing a grand job, it has to be said so far. Norby not quite close enough yet to launch an attack. When Kumho's definitely giving off the body language of a man who would like very much to do so. Now then, take a look at Aurelien Comte. That was a very nice run indeed. Unfortunately, it wasn't the deceleration zone that he could use to take the advantage. But Comte, the car is so much more stable at this stage than Girolami, isn't it? So much more confident as the French driver behind the wheel. Monster in the curve. He's got a great front end as well on that Cupra. Really able to dig the car down and into the apex. That's going to help Aurelien significantly in his bid to find a way past Podium Girolami. But the question is, being quick enough to close is one thing. Hey, being quick enough to have a look is another thing as well. But actually, physically, firmly putting that overtaking position, forget that one, Paul, be quiet, because there's drama. Girolami sideways does a great job to gather the car back together. Nacho Montenegro wants a piece of this one as well. Montenegro thinks better off the outside line. Girolami keeping his eyes on the mirrors. There's the Goat Racing Honda Civic behind. Got a good run through the final corner. Now Girolami will be planting his car to the inside. Doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable. Borkovic having a bit of a look as well. That car's on its tippy toes in the background. Dushan smells opportunity. His teammate Montenegro and the BRC Hyundai. And Girolami squabble. But for Aurelien Comte, the patience pays off, doesn't it? The French driver applied all of the pressure in the world, soaked it up like a sponge with Podium Girolami, but one small incident, one small mistake was exactly what Aurelien Comte needed to find a way through. And now the French driver up in a 9th position. Girolami down to 10th. Checking in on Santiago Arruti and Josh Buchan for a short while as well, with 11 minutes and 50 seconds plus a lap on the clock. Santiago holding on to 5th position for now. Josh, though, starting to show a fair turn of pace in that number 30 machine, climbing over the back of Santiago Arruti's car. Buchan will be looking for opportunities. Santiago Arruti, though very experienced, wily campaigner in a TCR touring car tip top. He's not going to give any inches doesn't have to give to Josh Buchan. A big ask for the Australian driver, but if the last 2 rounds were anything to go by, he's more than up to the challenge. Minutes then left in this race. Ted Bjork's advantage at the head of the pack. Very healthy, 2.9 seconds is the gap now. It's been a very strong race for Ted Bjork. Fastest lap for him. A 142.1, especially 142.3 for Jan Ellershey. So a couple of tenths quicker in terms of lap time, nearly 3 seconds quicker in terms of real estate. Great drive for this from Ted Bjork. That's going to do his championship the world of good. As now we cycle back to Josh Buchan, who looks rather optimistically around the outside. Santiago Arruti can't find a way past. Santiago has the line covered. There is an opportunity to the inside here for those who are brave enough. But Buchan decides not quite worth his time and attention, just yet at least. 10 minutes plus 1 lap left on the clock. There should be opportunities for Josh to find a way past. But for the Australian 30-year-old driver, he needs to bide his time, keep the powder dry at this stage, just keep a watching brief on what Arruti is doing. Try and understand where the pace is of the Lincoln Co relative to the customer Hyundai. And right on cue, Santiago does his best Ronnie Peterson impression, gets the car sideways, gathers it together quite dramatically and stylishly, it has to be said. Sideways is not as fast as forward momentum, and that's going to put Santiago now into the clutches of Buchan. And what it's going to do as well for Josh is give him a bit of a confidence boost. Santiago struggling, opportunity is presenting itself, and there's Aurelien Comte, by the way. Look how quickly he's closed the gap up to Norbert Michaelis, now having cleared the battle pack behind. Aurelien Comte, one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack, 143.8 last time around. In fact, he is the quickest driver on the racetrack at this moment in time, so there is more pace than you can shake a stick at for Aurelien Comte. Big question is, though, can he turn that into overtakes? Norbert Michaelis invitingly, tantalisingly left the inside door open there, but Aurelien decided that it's perhaps not a prudent time to make the move. Nelson Provenzo coming to the final corner. Great run for the Cupra. Has the outside line for the run down into T1 and T2. How hard is Michaelis going to fight this one? The answer, not very hard indeed. Comte gets the position taken even before we hit the braking event. That's another place gained. Up into 8th now for Aurelien Comte. Marcin Qua is the next man up the road. What can we do about the Lincoln Co's? definitely clear the Hyundai without too much problem. As the SP competition Cupra, now it's time for the Lee Co Cyan racing car in Marching Quarry. On this phone, looks like Aurelian is absolutely the man with the pace. Right then, let's have another look. This is what happened with Aurelian Comte riding on board through that final corner. It was a great run, wasn't it, from the French driver. He got the overlap one nice and early on Norbert Michaelis. Nobody would have seen the blue machine to his left-hand side. Elected not to fight it too hard into the braking zone. And with the ideal racing line and a compliant rival, the end result was only ever going to be Aurelian Comte into 8th position. There is Daniel Shea, points leader, the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, just behind him. Story of the season, isn't it, in 2025 it seems. Early Shea and Guerrieri locked in combat, perhaps not quite gloves off at this moment in time. It's definitely building, there's plenty of time left to do it. Mr. Guerrieri, he could do with that position, couldn't he? He could do with taking away the place from Jan Earlshey just to get the points challenge back, swinging in the right direction in terms of the Argentinians' hopes at least. A few more points lost isn't the end of the world. It's only 25 for second, 22 for third position. So it's only a 3-point deficit for Esteban Guerrieri, but boy oh boy, would he rather have those 3 points in his pocket than in the pocket of his rival, Jan Earlshey. Mightily impressive. Aurelian Comte continues his charge a little bit further down, 8th place for now, but Marching Quarry don't get too comfortable in that 7th position. I've got a sneaking suspicion you're going to be giving it away very quickly indeed. Look at the front end of the Cupra, it gets the car down into the inside, does Aurelian Comte, has the outside line for the second part of the corner complex. That is not going to be quite enough real estate for Comte to find a way past, but look at the mid-corner speed. That 107 is mighty rapid to the inside again. There's no grip on the curbs, but he might just pull this one off. Marching Quarry will be well aware of his rival to the inside, and Aurelian Comte with all of the flair and tenacity that you want to have makes a wonderful manoeuvre there. Comte up into 7th position now. Continues to cement the status of the fastest man on track so far here at the Inje Speedium in race 3, round 15. Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Really fabulous stuff then for Aurelian Comte. He makes his way up into that 7th position. We check back in again with Esteban Guerrieri, diligently continuing to apply pressure, albeit from distance, to Jan Earlshey ahead. Let's check the times as they cross the line. Last time around for Earlshey, 1:44.175. Guerrieri 44.379. 1.2 seconds now is the gap between our 2nd and 3rd position cars. A little bit further back, there is Mikael Azcona through your shot in 4th place. And there is the mightily impressive Aurelian Comte up there now in 7th place. A little bit further back, Marching Quarry coming under pressure from Norbert Michaelis. Norby running out of time. 5 minutes, 20 seconds left on the clock plus another lap. Norbert Michaelis needs to do something quite quickly if he wants to apply any kind of pressure to Marching Quarry. For his own good measure, seems to be dropping back a little bit now. Doesn't have the pace of those cars around him. Doesn't quite feel as comfortable. He seems behind the wheel of the 155 as some of his rivals. And for Norbert Michaelis, this could present a very hearty opportunity to do what he needs to do to move up into the 8th place, currently occupied by the Chinese driver. Very talented driver. Always got plenty of flair and excitement behind the wheel, but it's just not been his weekend, has it? Here in South Korea at the Inje Speedium, it's just never quite come together. 9th in race 1 from 3rd on the grid, 7th in race number 2. What can he do in the 3rd and final encounter? Sadly for Mar, it looks like it's going the opposite direction, doesn't it? Instead of getting better each race, it seems to be getting just a little bit worse. And for Norby, turn that one to his advantage. Being realistically for Norby, title hopes starting to slip a little bit outside of the grasp of team and driver, aren't they? But what you do is you score every point. Andy Prio always said that, didn't they? Never, ever leave a point on the table. You don't want to be going to the FIA ceremony at the end of the season having lost the title by that point you gave away. So Norby will be desperate to try and take away as much as he possibly can on home soil in front of the South Korean fans. Loving life. The Hyundai Festival, it has to be said. Probably not quite loving life Spegel Girolami. And why, I hear you ask? I'll tell you why, because there's Nacho Montenegro. Very much in the wheel tracks of the Hyundai Elantra and TCR. Montenegro keeps a watching brief, has a little think, has a little look. Spegel Girolami, though, is not susceptible to pressure in a touring car. Montenegro's hoping for any kind of free passes. He might surprise him, might, just might, to find a way past himself. Hello. What's this? This one's getting a bit close, isn't it? 3 minutes left on the clock, plus a singular lap. The battle packs a few and far between around the racetrack, but Marchinquois is very much one of the headline stars of the interest in the final few moments of this race. Mar definitely now does not have the pace of the chasing pack, but Nicholas being one of them behind. So Mar in some kind of troubles now. The drip has fallen away, the pace has dropped off in the 155, and the pressure is being applied liberally now by Norbert Nicholas. Rear gunner Spegel Girolami doing a great job to hold off two racing Honda Civics. But for Norbert, where do you do it? How do you do it? What do you do to take that 8th position away? It's not going to be easy for the Hungarian driver at all. Front end of that Elantra looking relatively solid at this late stage in proceedings, definitely more solid than Marchinquois ahead. It's going to be a big ask for our reigning double champion. Having a quick looking down the timing tower while we watch this battle unfold. Looks like Lowe Say-Ho is currently leading at TCR. Asia category, Lowe down there in 15th position so far, just behind Ryan McMillan. That'll be a good performance, the Hyundai i30N TCR driver. If he can hold on to that one and take top honours in his class. Taking top honours though in the drama stakes is Norbert Michaelis. Had a look to the inside, was told no. Had a look to the outside, was told no by Marchinquois. And Mar, I think the elbows, that's probably why he's struggling for pace. He's been sharpening the elbows, hasn't he? Waiting for this moment. When you're driving with a sharpener in your hand, it becomes a bit harder. Well, he's going to need it now because Norbert is on a charge, and I think Marchinquois is showing zero signs of being compliant to his BRC Hyundai N Squad Corse rival. And Norbert Michaelis will have to be brave, will have to throw caution to the wind if he wants to find a way past for 8th position. Remember, this is not for the win, this is not even on the podium. This is the squabble for 8th place. Such is the level, the competitive nature of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour in 2025. We've got two superstars like that one squabbling in the lower reaches of the top 10. Mikel Arcona's also squabbling. He's not on the podium either. He's in 4th position. Is Mikel Santiago Urrutia, and that man Josh Buchan are the ones that are chasing him down. It's been a great drive this from Mikel. No pace there in the 196 relative to those around, and looking at that shot, probably no grip on the rear either. But Mikel not making any mistakes, not overdriving the car. It's been a very professional, workmanlike performance from car number 196 to hold on to that 4th place. Penultimate lap then. You can see Fox are going to hit 0, and then we'll have one more lap at the end of this one. Can anybody do anything about anyone in the final stages? Josh Buchan would really like to do so, wouldn't they? There we see him around the outside is Josh. Santiago Urrutia though has the line covered. Buchan tempted to look at that inside line. No, but Michaelis tempted to have a look at Marchinquois. Round the outside we go once again for Norbert. And around the outside is closed off once again by Mar. Has a look to the in again. No room whatsoever. Mar's going to be deep though. He's going to be compromised. Can the car to the inside hold position? Norbert, there's no grip on the curb. Doesn't quite have an opportunity, and Marchinquois survives this one. While they're squabbling very hard indeed though. Nacho Montenegro is the 3rd outlier in this little battle. Can the Argentinian driver sneak up there in the quiet while Norbert's concentrating on Mar ahead? Montenegro senses opportunity. Everybody snatches a break down through into the chicane. The car of the circuit rolls back round to the right-hand side. This is where drivers who are struggling with grip in their Kumho tyres are going to feel the most pain. If you've looked after the car, if you've looked after the tyres underneath you, benefit will be coming your way during this particular section of the Inje Speedium track. But on this occasion, doesn't quite work out for Norbert Michaelis Marchinquois. In fact, if anything, he's built a bit of a comfort blanket, and now Montenegro To the outside line we go for Nacho, the 1-2-3. I wondered if he was going to sneak up quietly. Well, no sneaking now. He is well and truly announced his arrival, using all the curb and a little bit more. Montenegro, though, still in 10th position. Ted Bjork still in 1st position. But the thing that's changed for Ted is now on his final lap of the race. Race 3 of the weekend here in South Korea. It's looking very nice indeed for Ted Bjork. 1.6 seconds ahead of Jan Earlshey. Esteban Guerrieri in 3rd. Mikel Azcona. This is the fight for 4th. Mikel has been a defensive masterclass over the course of this race. Nothing dramatic, nothing exciting, but absolutely, well and truly error-free from the Spanish driver. Not defending fresh air, not overdriving the Hyundai, which is very, very easy to do in the heat of battle. Azcona hasn't put a wheel wrong. This will be the hardest fought 4th position, I dare say, of the Spanish driver's career, if he can hold on. For the body language of Santiago Urrutia suggests perhaps he's more concerned about Josh Buchan behind and Mikel Azcona ahead. Buchan, for his own measure, a very combative drive once again from the Australian, and another very impressive performance to boot. Through then, the final few moments of this motor race, round 15, the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Ted Bjork started this one from pole position, courtesy of having the highest point score of anyone over the course of the weekend to date. And that pole position, he's executed in outstanding style. To the line goes Ted Bjork, takes the checkered flag, and with it, victory in round 15 of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour for his 3rd race win of 2025. And a big signal of intent that Ted Bjork is here for the Drivers' Championship. And watch out anybody that might try and get in his way. Celebrations all round for the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing team. It's a 1-2 for them. Jan Earlshey coming home in 2nd position. Esteban Guerrieri on the provisional bottom step of the podium. Doesn't gain points, but minimises the loss behind. That's some very exciting racing at the back of your pike as well. Borkovic just makes it through on Johnson Park at the end for 11th place. Johnson Park 11th. Diego, it's not Diego Brown, my apologies. In 13th position goes Ryan McMillan. Drama all the way to the checkered flag. Cheers, hugs and handshakes all round at Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing. And so it should be. That's a great way to end the weekend for the squad. Jan Earlshey extends his Drivers' Championship points lead. The team extend their points lead as well. And they set themselves up very nicely indeed for a couple of weeks' time. And we're back again at Zhuzhou International in China on the weekend of the 31st of October. Future times are future problems for conversations further down the road. I think what we need to do, my dear viewer, is bask in the glory of the victory for Ted Bjork. A lovely performance from 111. Ted never put a foot wrong from pole position. He was always going to be the favourite to take the victory from the front row of the grid. But the favourite tag has its own pressures, I think it's fair to say. Ted was more than equal to each and every one of them. Led away from the line, never realistically, let's be honest, but like he was in any kind of trouble. And a win is his reward. 47 points now is the deficit between Bjork and Earlshey. Esteban Guerrieri drops to 54 back now. So Guerrieri losing yet more ground to his main championship rival. Santiago Urrutia is 4th in the provisional championship standings, 90 points back from teammate Earlshey. And then look at that one, our reigning champion Norbert Mikulis, 5th place, 148 points behind. Yep, I think we knew the championship charge was over a long time ago for Norbert. Well, final nails in the coffins have not quite been hammered in, but they've most definitely been earmarked for insertion. Shame that for Norbert, shame for his 2025 campaign, but as I think he mentioned on the grid for race 2, didn't he? Let's go out there and get as many good results as we possibly can. And whatever happens, happens when we get to Macau. There is the damage you can just see on the front right-hand corner of Santiago Urrutia's car. Didn't really hurt him in the end, did it, for Santi? 5th position, there is man of the moment, Ted Bjork. And I'm sure there'll be some delighted inter-team celebrations between himself and Jan Earlshey. It's been a very, very good race 3, hasn't it, for the Blue Squad? And Ted doing his level best to keep the Drivers' Championship fight alive for another season. In fine style as well. Only the only other driver to have taken 3 wins this season. Yeah, you guessed it, Daniel Shea alongside. There we go then. Ted Bjork celebration with the team. Emotions are high, so be careful of language, gents. There is Jan. There we go, good stuff, both drivers. Good heart, healthy mutual respect about the pair of them. Some really, really great sportsmanship between both drivers. Yes, they're fighting for the title. Yes, they've been rivals for years on years, but they're also team players. They know who their employer is. They know that first and foremost they're racing for the team, and then secondly they're racing for themselves. And that healthy respect translates onto the racetrack as well between Ted and Jan. Two drivers that you can trust to behave very well indeed. And there is Ted Bjork getting ready for the race winners interview. First mistake of the day. He's thinking it was now, not a little bit later on. They're the kind of mistakes you don't mind making, though. Save it for the interviews and not the racetrack for Ted Bjork, and he's been faultless this weekend. I can see Eve and Alex down there getting ready. Let's have a look at the provisional race results. It is Ted Bjork, Jan Earlshey, and Esteban Gurrieri, your podium finishers. Mikel Azcona, Santiago Urrutia, and Josh Buchan, the 4th, 5th, and 6th. Aurelien Kopp, Marcin Coir, Norbert Miklis, and Nacho Montenegro round out the top 10 finishes. 32.9 seconds covering the top 10. 20 seconds covering the top 7. It was close out there. It wasn't the overtaking festival that race 1 and race 2 perhaps were, but still it was a very interesting strategic race and has very interesting connotations for the Drivers' Championship. Before we do that one though, do you want a word with our race winner? Go on then, let's head down to Alex Legui.
A well-deserved win for Ted Bjork here at the Inje Speedium. Congratulations, a very good, clean race.
Fantastic to get paid for, but my car was flying this weekend. You know, it was so fast, but when you're fighting in the field, obviously it's not easy. But here, just relax, just drive, and so nice, so nice.
Brilliantly done.
Yeah, it was so nice. You know, it looks easy in the front, but it's not. You have to be, you know, don't do any mistakes. But this weekend, send my best back to the family at home. They're always with me.
Congratulations, Ted.
Fabulous stuff then from our race winner. Very quickly remembering not to undersell the performance that he's just made, backtracking there live, saying yes, it's actually more difficult than it looks at the head of the pack. And when you're as good as Ted Bjork, makes everything look easy, doesn't he? Let's have a listen in as they walk to the podium. I'm sure they can hear me if they stop talking. The second I said that one. Yeah, couldn't quite make it out there, but the first and second place drivers make their merry way to the podium. Now, again, all the caveats in the world, as always, this is the provisional driver standings. We don't have a final result yet until the stewards have had their bit. But what it does mean is Jan Earlshey provisionally is 47 points ahead of Ted Bjork. Esteban Gurrieri has dropped down a third in the driver standings now. 54 points in arrears. Not a disaster for Gurrieri. It can be recovered from here. But it does seem as though the pendulum of opportunity is swinging a little bit further in the favour of the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing team. Zuzu is next on the 31st of October. But before we get onto the podium, why don't we have a look at some of the highlights of the race that we have just enjoyed?
podium for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour Race 3 here in South Korea. Please welcome to the podium our TCR World Tour drivers. In third position from Goat Racing, it's Esteban Guerrieri. Please give a huge round of applause for our second position from Link & Co Sign Racing, it's Jan Erlashe. And your winner from Link & Co Sign Racing, it's Ted Bjork. And representing Link & Co Sign Racing, it's Ben Ashton. Now for the national anthem for Ted Bjork. And now for the trophies. The trophies are presented by Mr. Min Seok-yoon, the Senior Vice President and Global Marketing of Kumho Tires. He'll be presenting the third position trophy to Goat Racing's Esteban Guerrieri. Mr. Min Seok-yoon will now present the second position trophy to Link & Co Cyan Racing's Jan Erlashe. And the winning trophy to Link & Co Cyan Racing's Ted Bjork. And now the representative of the winning team trophy to Ben Ashton. Now we have a very special trophy offered by Inje County. The design was born from the core concept of a circuit shaped by the mountains, inspired by the contours and textures created by nature. It embodies the elegant identity unique to Inje. This trophy will be presented by Mr. Lee Myung-gu Lee, the Director of Tourism Development Division of Inje County. This trophy will be presented to Cyan Racing's Ted Bjork. Or Ben Ashton. And now for your official photographs. Grab those bottles. Champagne. Samnida, thank you so much for having us. Don't run away, the TCR Asia podium is coming right up next. But on behalf of the TCR World Tour, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Fabulous stuff then. The Kumho FIA TCR World Tour podium is complete, and once again, some champagne to be shared amongst the GOAT racing mechanics. Esteban Gurrieri, always thinking about those that work hard to put the cars together. And trust me, there's a lot of pressure on that young man, because if he dropped that one, it's right next to the weighbridge, and that would be a problem. So, great stuff. And now for Asia Podium.
Asia round 11. Please put your hands together and welcome. In third position is Chang Chen Chang. Please put your hands together and give a very warm welcome to our second position driver, Choi Jung-won. And the winner back on the top step once again is Diego Moran. And the team champion, DM23 Ecuador Racing. Now for our cup drivers, please put your hands together and give a warm welcome to our third position, Andy Lang. To our second position driver, Red Diwa. And the winner is Benny Santoso. Now for the trophies, which are being presented by Inje Speedium's CEO, Youngmin Lee. And the winning trophy to Diego Moran. With the team champion trophy going to DM23 Ecuador Racing. And now a very special Inje Speedium trophy going to the winner, Diego Moran. Now for the cup drivers. In third position, the trophy goes to Andy Lang. The second position trophy goes to Red Diwa. And the winning trophy goes to Benny Santoso. Please come together for your official photographs. Grab those bottles. Champagne. Thank you so much for having us. We have absolutely loved our time here in South Korea. We cannot wait to be back again next year.
Thank you very much then, Alex Legui down on the podium. Thank you to our drivers that all scored their own individual successes. And thank you to the people of South Korea. What a weekend it has been for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. It's the first time we've been here. It's the first time we've been to the Inje Speedium, and every single part of the experience has been sensational, especially for Jan Aleshe, who now leads by 47 points from Ted Bjork, and 54 back is Esteban Gurrieri. 3 races under all different weather conditions. There's been dramas, there's been excitement, controversy, contact, and some very deserving race winners, not least of which was Ted Bjork, who won the 3rd race, round 15 of the World Tour. We're back again on the weekend of the 31st of October from the Zhuzhou International Circuit in China. So from myself, Paul Jeffrey, from the whole team at the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, thank you very much for watching. It's been great to have your company, and we will see you all again in a couple of weeks' time. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.